They are all about emergency contraception.
They are all about emergency contraception.
The church tried to set up a suicide helpline.
The church tried to set up a suicide helpline.
The church provided explicit instructions for how to kill yourself.
Originally, the COE provided instructions on how to kill yourself on its website. But after the death of a man in Missouri in 2003, they were forced to remove their instructions. They do still provide a link to another site that features instructions and advice.
The height of the church activity coincided with the rise to fame of Dr. Jack Kevorkian.
Jack Kevorkian was an avid proponent of physician-assisted suicide. He was commonly known as Dr. Death. Although in these modern times assisted dying is becoming much less taboo to discuss, in the 90s it caused quite an uproar. Dr. Kevorkian spent 8 years in jail after helping 130 patients end their lives. Handily, his media fame was during the same decade as the rise of the Church of Euthanasia.
You can join if you have kids.
The Church of Euthanasia is nothing if not fair. They believe that what's done is done when it comes to kids that were created before making the pledge. As long as you promise to not make any more, you're good to go as a member of the COE. They claim to have several members with children, and one whose son has joined as well.
Their protests were pretty abrasive.
The COE liked to use phrases like "save the planet, kill yourself," "eat a queer fetus for Jesus," and other lines that they knew would get attention. Sadly, they drew lots of negative attention instead of engaging in meaningful discussions about the sensitive topics they were promoting. One of the most obnoxious pieces of propaganda that the COE put out was a video called "I Like to Watch." It was released 3 months after the attack on the World Trade Center and featured clips of people dying mixed with hardcore porn.
No, you don't have to kill yourself.
The COE website is very clear that once you become a member, killing yourself is strictly optional. After all, who would spread the word about the church if all the members were dead? However, there is a brief but disturbing line on the church FAQ page regarding suicide. If you really want to, though, wait until after you've joined the church. That way you automatically become a saint without any additional paperwork. They don't really elaborate on that, but automatic sainthood without the paperwork does sound great.
There is no membership application.
Becoming a member of the COE is easy. Staying a member is much harder. According to their official website, if you choose to not procreate, you're a member already. However, once you procreate, you are kicked out forever. You either get an abortion or leave the church. It seems like a huge thing to ask of anyone, but church advisors recommend preventing the need for an abortion in the first place by following the fourth pillar, sodomy.
The founder was approached by an alien in a dream.
Many religions begin with a central figure or leader being approached by an otherworldly figure. This figure gives them a message, which they must then spread to the world via a new faith. In the case of the Church of Euthanasia, the leader was Chris Kordain, and she was confronted by an alien in a dream. This alien asked her some questions about global warming, and specifically why humans weren't doing anything about it. Kordain went on to found the COE as a solution to the problem of overpopulation.
They believe that global population reduction must be voluntary.
The Church of Euthanasia strongly believes in restoring the balance between mankind and other animal species that inhabit the earth. They believe that this can only be done by reducing the population of humans. However, they are kind enough to insist that it be done voluntarily. The Church acknowledges that epidemics and modern wars don't have much of an effect on population growth anyway, and can be very physically damaging to the planet.
The 4 pillars of the Church are suicide, abortion, cannibalism, and sodomy.
The 4 pillars of the Church of Euthanasia are pretty self-explanatory for most of us, or at least, suicide and abortion are, if not somewhat uncomfortable. Cannibalism and sodomy are a bit more tricky, but the Church was kind enough to spell it out for anyone who is confused. Note that cannibalism is only required for those who insist on eating flesh, and is strictly limited to consumption of the already dead. Also note that sodomy is defined as any sexual act not intended for procreation. Fellatio, cunnilingus, and anal sex are all forms of sodomy and are still illegal in some parts of the United States. Glad we cleared that up.
They have one commandment: thou shalt not procreate.
The Church of Euthanasia has one very simple commandment: thou shalt not procreate. It's really much easier to keep track of, as opposed to the 10 Commandments from the Christian faith. The Church has one steadfast belief, which is that no more humans need to be made.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.